Okay, in this retro review, we are already up to episode 20 of season 2 of Star Trek: The Original Series. This called Return to Tomorrow. Our review right after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and the first thing that I want to say about this episode is that it contains perhaps my favorite line and one that describes the mission of the Enterprise to a T, and it's in this episode where Kirk says it, risk is our business. And in doing so, that explains the whole reason for Starfleet to exist. They are not really a military, they're kind of a military type of organization, but they're explorers. And why do you explore? Why do you want to learn more? Why are you willing to put up with clanky transporters and dangerous warp drive chambers and who knows what kind of alien you're going to meet, if not, risk is our business. So I kind of like that line, and it is in this episode that it is. This is almost a bottle episode. They call anything that you don't have to build any extra sets for a bottle episode. Actually, they built one other set in order to have the underground cavern where the receptacles were, and otherwise everything happens on board the Enterprise, and everything happens with existing cast except for Diana Muldaur and one extra nurse who does get credit, but only one line. Anyway, the story, as it goes, we know how it goes. But the thing I want to point out is the ability for Leonard Nimoy to play a villain. Now, as Spock, of course, he's very well defined by this point, and so his ability to play someone who is a schemer is kind of refreshing. It does not look fakey as it could. And so hats off to Leonard Nimoy for handling a tricky bit of acting. In the part of Shatner, I find that his reactions and response to pain and things like this are a little over the top. That's always been the way his acting has been done, and I think that he thought that if the director liked it that way, he'd just keep doing it, and so it worked out. It became kind of a signature of his to over-orate, overreact, over-mime. And so there's that. There are a couple of other good lines in there, too. One by Scotty when they're first coming up with the possibility of trading bodies with these aliens. He said, are you out of your heads? And McCoy says, no comment. I thought that was one of the more clever lines in the whole thing. Still, it dates itself from the way they're treating women. Dr. Mahal and Felicia behave more as your stereotypical 60s woman rather than an advanced being or a Starfleet doctor. The Diana Muldaur, of course, has this, and this is one of two appearances she's made as different characters in the original series. Of course, she became Dr. Pulaski in The Next Generation, so she has been around and seems to be one of their more versatile guest stars that they've had, in that she can embody different characters, and it doesn't matter so much that you've seen her before in another role. So in this one, it worked reasonably well, where she is going from the professional on one side to the higher intelligence on the other. It's just I don't much care for how they wanted it portrayed, which is, once again, the rule by emotion type rather than intellect, which is all that they were when they transferred into the bodies. So, however, she does catch herself before the end of it, and in fact helps it come out all right, I suppose. So we'll give it kind of a half of a thumbs up on that point. Otherwise, we don't have much for anybody else to do. We have Ahura screaming in pain for something, and Sulu is back after having made Green Berets, and we don't see much of anybody else. Scotty has a very small bit where he comes in and tells them they don't know how to build robots because this drop of gel isn't going to do the same thing as gears and pulleys. But other than that, it was very much a Shatner Nimoy and to a certain extent McCoy type of episode. McCoy has all of the doubts and all of the concerns and all of the bad feeling about this kind of vibes. And so that is where this episode is. So I'd like to know what you think about it. Please put it in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and click the like button if you will. I get a report once a month from the from YouTube, and they tell me how many likes I get, and that's kind of nice to see. I don't really know how they count it, but it's nice to get. And of course, the more subscribers we have, the more we'll be able to do. So that is something that will help us out as well. So I thank you for viewing, and stay tuned for our Friday offering of episode 3 of Babylon 5. And until then, don't go far.